Welcome another session of the love and respect experience, spiritual understanding, spiritual reading. Um, I'm the nasty pastor, and it's only faith ministries. Um, Hopefully y'all enjoyed chapter 1. I sat back and looked back at it, and I had to laugh about some things. You know, for the most part, we had more good times than bad times. It's just that, when two people in a marriage is, they basically go in two different directions. It's kind of hard to slow the other one down. That's accelerate more than the other one. And if you know anything about love, you can love a person enough to let them go. You know what I mean? And you can love them enough to hold them back because you sense a mistake somewhere. And you know, marriage it take two people. One person can't do it all. And that's one thing I never say about my ex-wife, that she didn't try. She tried. You know what I mean? And like I said in chapter 1, it got to a point her life was, moving. I couldn't hold her back. I couldn't do that, you know what I mean? It'd have been against everything that I believe in, everything that how I would want to be treated. And like I said, I learned a lot being married. I'm full. I'm not gonna say I know all you women, because I don't proclaim that I've dated all you women, but you know, my biggest thing in any relationship is getting to know the person I'm dealing with. Because you can say some of the most littlest thing in your vocabulary, in your world, and it's something major in someone else's. So it's best to get an understanding of who you're dealing with, so you'll know how to treat them. You will know, how they're going to treat you. Relationships can last forever. Some of them do, some of them don't. You know what I mean? But you have to learn from them. And let's go and get into chapter 2. Once again, The Love and Respect Experience by Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. It's a total of 52 chapters. So, let's get it going. If some of them short, I'll make sure that I get 2, 3 of them in. If not, you know what I mean? Hey, we'll roll as we roll it. Like, for example, chapter 2, very short. Really number 2 pages, you know what I mean? Chapter 3, same thing. So I might get 2, 3, 4 out of this. Who knows? But let's get into chapter 2. Pink and blue, not wrong, just different. Under that, it says Genesis chapter 5, verse 2. He created them, male and female, and he blessed them. So that's the creator. If you go into Genesis, you can read that part. It's chapter 5, Genesis, verse 2. He created them, male and female, and he blessed them. All right. One of the most powerful and eye-opening concepts in the love and respect approach to marriage is the difference between pink and blue. We aren't talking about how to decorate a nursery. We are simply pointing out how God made men and women as different as the colors pink and blue. But don't pink and blue look good together though? Yeah, it really do. That pink and lime green look good. That hit good too, you know what I mean? But opposites attract. And that's why I said, if you go check out Only Faith Ministries, you'll check out some of those readings of Revelation. That's why I said whom I praise, I believe is a morphodite. To understand, I need to put this in me, and I need to put that in women. You know what I mean? So, it's a lot of theories where we'll probably never get the full understanding until, our souls are going back home. You know what I mean? But let's get back into this right here. Um, I use the simple analogy that the woman looks at the world through pink sunglasses, that color, all she sees. The man, however, looks at the world through blue sunglasses, that color, all he sees. Men and women can look at precisely the same situation and see life very differently. Got it? Give you something about the marriage. All right. I got to a point, and we're just dating. We're not married yet. You know, this in the first year. Um, like I explained, I was, living with her because my job was 5-10 minutes away. So, when it got time for the first bill, for my first time to pay bills in there, she like, well, baby, I'm a, add up all the bills, let you know what they are, let you know what your half for the bills is and stuff. I said, okay, you know what I mean? So when I get home from work, I was working at Lutron, which was like, I got off at 10 at night. It was a second shift job, you know what I mean? It was one of my second jobs in Richmond when I got back to Virginia from North Carolina. But the pay was good, the work was easy. But so I get in, you know what I mean? I'm sitting down eating and I'm going over the bill. I'm like, cool, you know what I mean, huh? Take this, bam, 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 blah, this. So something hit me either a day later, a couple of days later. I was like, the child support ain't in this. So she was like, no, child support ain't a bill. So I was like, yeah, that is a bill. You know what I mean? And we didn't get physical about it. You know what I mean? But we did, we argued and she either called her mom or her mom was calling in. And we end up asking the mom. And like the mom told her, yeah, that's a bill. You know what I mean? That's if you're adding up every bill in this house, that's a bill. Whether or not that child stay there, that is a bill that he has to pay. And she was like, well, no, I ain't gonna put my truck insurance in there, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that then, blah, blah, blah. But to get to the point what I'm saying, she didn't see this the way I saw it. She saw it differently. She didn't see that as being a bill, but she, I explained something to her. I said, okay, that truck note, that insurance, if you break up, we break up today, right now, you can take that truck with you because it's in your name, right? That child support in my name, right? So that kind of ended it. Her mom diffused it, you know what I mean? And, we just never, I helped with the maintenance on the truck, kept the gas in it, kept it clean, but I never paid the bills and the insurance, the same as she didn't pay my child support. But let's get back to this. And inevitably, their pink and blue lenses cause their interpretation of things to be at odds. In some cases, more than so than others. Men and women not only see differently, but they also hear differently. To catch the pink and blue analogy a little further, God created men with blue hearing aids and women with pink hearing aids. They may hear the same words but receive very different messages, as in the statement, I have nothing to wear. She hears nothing new, while he hears nothing clean. Because men and women figuratively wear sunglasses and hearing aids in different colors, they see, hear, and behave differently in countless ways. When she wants to talk face to face, he wants her to sit next to him and watch football. This is a pink and blue difference. When she wants their 10-year-old son to be more careful riding his bike and he wants his boy to ride that bike the way he himself did when he was 10, this is a pink and blue difference. When she wants to clean the kitchen, launder the sheets, and vacuum the carpets right away, and he wants her to forego these chores to play with him and the kids, this is a pink and blue difference. Many couples arrive at our conferences suffering from color blindness regarding the profound impact the principle of pink and blue has on marriage. But when they leave their color blindness is going, they make observations like these. I never saw that before. I thought we were the same. Now I understand how men and women are wired differently and why it takes a lot of work to learn about each other's needs. And I'm able to view conflict totally different now. Instead of seeing my husband as an egotistical maniac, I have some peace and confidence about who God made me to be and who God made him to be. And I'm not feeling so frustrated about our differences. Refusing to get frustrated is the key. Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 tells us that God made us in his image. And Genesis 5:2 asks that he bless what he made. When differences arise, and they always will, remember this is part of God's plan. Neither one of you is wrong, just different. A major step toward a happy marriage is accepting differences and working them out with love and respect. Relax and even rejoice. That's the end of chapter 1. But you get what I'm saying, though? Like, you're going to be at odds. You're going to, you know what I mean? You're not going to agree with everything. But you have to learn to agree to disagree. You know what I mean? Just because, you say the grass purple and she say the grass green, it shouldn't be no all-out war argument. There should be, maybe an explanation to why you see it that way, why her see it that way. You figure somewhere in the medium, in the middle, how to just say, okay, walk away because it didn't matter. You know what I mean? It's only 2 women I've ever lived with outside of my family is my youngest son, Mom Monique, and my ex-wife. So the biggest thing in the house to me, which I felt was worth an argument, is that these bills not getting paid. You know what I mean? Anything had to do with these bills and food in that refrigerator, yeah, that's an argument to me. Everything else should have been a discussion. You know what I mean? But how many people do I really know, or how many women I dealt with that really see life the way I see it? Really see arguments the way I see it? Really see, love as I see it? Not many. Not many. You know what I mean? It's some things about me that I value in my youngest son, Mom, and my ex-wife, that I wish I could think that way. I wish I could act that way. I wish I could instantly say, okay, that's the right way. You know what I mean? We're different. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to agree with everything. They're not going to agree with everything. But it's a prayer at the end. It said, thank the Lord. In the very beginning, he created male and female, blue and pink. Ask him for patience and ever-growing understanding of how men and women see and hear differently. In Amen name, in Jesus' name, in Horus' name. Chapter 2, do you have a good-willed marriage? Alright, the verse in this is Proverbs chapter 11, verse 27. He who seeks good finds goodwill, but evil comes to him who searches for it. You get it? See, evil always knocking at your door. You know what I mean? At the time when my ex-wife was trying to build me back up, evil had me sunk in depression. Something, feeling worthless. You know what I'm saying? Feeling worthless. Not being able to figure my next steps. Not being able to think for myself. And when I was working, fighting for my wife, you know what I mean, society, and I'm not going to say it's all evil in society, but whatever she was attracted to, attached to, was taking her away from her marriage. So that's the evil, you know what I mean? When you're trying to work good deeds, there's always evil to deter you down, to distract you. And you have to not lose focus. You have to not, get off the journey you're on. Stay on your path. Stay on it. You know what I mean? All right, let's start chapter 3. Let's start chapter 3. I am sometimes asked what I think is the most important principle we teach. Pink and blue, not wrong, just different. Comes to mind, but so does one simple word, goodwill. When you and your spouse see each other as goodwill, good things are in store for your marriage. When they first hear the word goodwill, people have questions. Just what is goodwill? How can I know I am showing goodwill towards my spouse? How can I be sure my spouse has goodwill toward me? A simple definition of goodwill is the intention to do good toward another person. But the challenge often comes in when one spouse does something to the other spouse that does not feel good, loving or respectful as the case may be. It is often just just a little thing, but still enough to get the crazy cycle revving up. At moments like these, the offendee has to cut the offender some slack, as in giving him or her the goodwill benefit of doubt. A number of verses confirm that goodwill is a biblical idea. See, for example, Proverbs 14:9, Philippians 1:15, and Ephesians 6:7, and Paul is surely talking about the concept of goodwill in Corinthians 7:33 to 34, when he warns that husbands and wives can become so concerned about pleasing each other that they can be distracted from serving Christ as they should. Granted, husbands and wives don't always demonstrate the natural desire to please each other as well as they might, but their goodwill is real nonetheless. Let me speak to you something about goodwill. Like I said, we wasn't married yet. I'm still into really the first year of our getting together. And like I said, I get off at 10, get out the building like 10:30, 10:40. But what I used to do, majority of the nights, coming home from work, she liked the windows chilly a lot. So I made it my priority that on my way home is to call her, see what she would want me to pick her up something, to bring home. And it weighed a lot. It showed somebody that they gave a fuck about her. They gave a care about her. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't her always calling me. It was me, hey babe, I'm on my way leaving. You want me to stop? You know what I mean? It's either yes or no. You know what I'm saying? Majority of the times it's yeah. And I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it one bit. You know what I mean? Because she was a giving person also. That's why today's passage is so important. When there is conflict, disagreement, or a bump of some kind, don't automatically conclude that your partner has ill will toward you. If you look for evil, you can find it every time. Do that and the crazy cycle will spin for sure. What Proverbs 11:27 is saying to the married couple is this: look for the good in your spouse, even though it seems to be lacking. It is quite likely that you will see your spouse's goodwill coming right back at you. The truth is simple. We will see what we look for. No matter what happens, always assume your partner has basic goodwill toward you. How does that work in real married life? Here are some examples. I know of one husband who made the decision always to assume his wife had goodwill. Not only did the simple commitment improve his attitude, but it also changed her entire attitude toward him. He writes, I started giving her the benefit of the doubt. I didn't tell her she was disrespectful or anything. The results are stunning. She has been easier to live with. She doesn't nag me as much. She has shown increased interest in my hobbies, and she says I am like a new person. All this from simply giving her the benefit of the doubt. What does Proverbs 11:27 say? Look for good and you will find goodwill, sometimes in spades. See, I had to rethink things about, my wife. There's things dating that I saw differently before I asked to marry her. Those were the things that say, yeah, it's time. After 4 years, yeah, let me ask her. You know what I mean? And we won't argue. You know what I mean? Things got right for a nice 6 months. A nice 6 months. Things was in perfect harmony. So, We did pre-marriage counseling. We both got an understanding out of that. You know what I mean? It was my aunt that did it, that did the marriage counseling, but she was very, with me being her nephew, she still wasn't fair to me. You know what I mean? She was fair to both of us to give us both an understanding of what marriage is to her. You know what I mean? She been married since I was born. You know what I mean? So we talking about maybe over 50 some years married. You know what I mean? So well, I'm gonna say 51 years. She probably been married 51 years. You know what I mean? Cause me and Mookie will be 52s, and I know she won't marry when she had Mookie. So she met June after, she had Mookie. So probably 50 years. They probably working on 50 years of marriage. You know what I mean? But or what about the wife who had to spend much of the summer apart from her husband because of their different career responsibilities? After several weeks, she went to see him, meeting him at his office where she knew he was under a lot of stress because of an important interview coming up. She hoped for at least a hug or a kiss, but was greeted instead by a preoccupied husband who practically ignored her. Although she was hurt, she asked God to help her remember he was a goodwill man who simply needed some time to prepare for an important interview. Her prayers and patience paid off. 2 hours later, he emerged a refreshed and lighter man, full of hugs and kisses for me. They had a wonderful time the rest of the evening as well as over the next several days. Before learning about goodwill and the pink and blue differences between men and women, she would have belittled her preoccupied husband in no uncertain terms. This time she turned to God for understanding and felt true peace because she was able to look at the situation from his male blue point of view. That was another thing, I looked at that part when I read, this piece of the book also, you know what I mean? It was things that me sitting there doing my music, me sitting there trying to figure something out, if I didn't stop what I was doing, that was an attitude. That was an attitude problem. And maybe I didn't say it right sometimes, because sometimes just me saying, hold on, it's the way you say it. And her feelings will get hurt. It's a lot I had to reflect on. It's a lot that I had to work on. It's a lot that I had to not just blame her, or not just blame me, blame the fact that there's differences in us, there's differences of opinion, you know what I mean? So it was a lot that I had to sit back and I had to say, well, okay, I hold the weight on that, but we both hold the weight on that, or just throw that out, you know what I mean? There's no way possible we wasn't gonna ever agree on that, you know what I mean? But let's get back to this. Does seeking good in your spouse when he or she has not shown much goodwill always work? No, not always, but remember this simple but powerful principle. Assuming goodwill in your partner is always the best policy. Keep on seeking the good. Eventually you will find it, and goodwill as well. All right, that's the end of that one. It's a prayer at the end. Let's go and do this one. Thank the Lord for the goodwill each of you has toward the other. Ask him for strength to give each other the benefit of the doubt during moments when someone's goodwill seems to be lacking. In Amen name, in Jesus' name, in Horace's name. All right, chapter 4 said God joined you together and he will keep you together. Matthew 19:6. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man separate. Some, man. Yeah, it's some, but I'm going to speak on the part about, so they are no longer two, but one flesh. And even married, my ex-wife used to always hit that man. This man, this man, this man, this man. more pain had came from the words that came out her mouth than the physical actions she done to me. You got me? You understand? You know what I mean? At least the actions, you were bold enough to do it. Bold enough to let me see it. But see, the words could have been lies. Could have been the way it was said to me. Hurt it way more than what you showed me. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into chapter 4. Let's move on. And chapter 4 starts off. We are familiar with the phrase, until death do you part, in the wedding vows. The Christian view is that marriage is for keeps, a value that is under constant attack in our present day culture. Jesus' words are a powerful reminder that God has joined you together, not some human legal requirement. I hear from many couples who are very sure of this. Regardless of marital bumps, they say God brought us together and that is all that matters. Or we know God brought us together. Or typical of our cyberspace times. We met over the net and God brought us together in the most wonderful way. Sincere believers agree with these enthusiastic testimonies and start out wanting to keep their vows. But for many, some things go awry on the road to wedded bliss. One spouse writes, I believe in my heart that God brought us together, but we can't talk to each other at all without getting into a huge fight. And another says, because we felt so strongly that God led us together, we were so puzzled that after only 1 year we were so unhappy and having so much conflict. Many couples may believe that matrimony is engineered by God, but this belief does not necessarily prevent acrimony. As Paul says, those who marry will face many troubles. Corinthians 7:28. For precisely this reason, Sarah and I are committed to traveling the land, actually the world, spreading the word about the love and respect connection, which can keep the marriage bond strong and, if necessary, heal hurts and pain from the past, as one wife attests. We made a promise to each other when we agreed to marry that we would never divorce, no matter what. Love and respect was the extra boost we needed to move beyond a negative stage where we had gotten stuck at last. We were able to give one another the benefit of the doubt and return love and respect to each other instead of suspicion and anger. I love where we are now in our journey together. Reread Matthew 19:6 carefully. You and your spouse are one, joined together by God, not to be separated by anyone. I used to think it took a third party to break up a marriage. Now I realize that the greatest danger lies within. Having challenges in your marriage does not mean you or God made a mistake. It simply means you must obey God's command to love and respect with renewed faith and commitment. Like you, sir, and I are committed to stay married until death do us part. But if anything will kill a marriage, it is anger, suspicion, and failing to give each other the benefit of the doubt. God brought us together and he will keep us together as we do our marriage as unto him. Of course, we know all this, don't we? I am simply reminding and urging you to live it every day with love and respect. It's a prayer at the end, and the prayer goes, thank God for joining you together and for allowing you to trust him to help you. Whatever the issue, God is there for you and expects you to look to him to keep you together as a team. So ask him for his help in the smallest of concerns. Well, we got through 2, 3, and 4. And what I want to say, always know this, man, that some people are in your life for a season. Some people are in your life forever. There's always an expiration date to people being in your life, whether it's by death, whether it's by falling out, whether it's by, you're moving across the world. whether you're not having access to being able to communicate, being able to get in a vehicle, get on the bus, and go see that person. People are in your life for a time period, and yeah, me and my wife both said we wasn't never going to divorce. We both said this forever, but we both went back on our word. You know what I mean? And I did. I asked whom I prayed to for a good one. I did. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say I didn't get a good woman. You know what I mean? I got to see both sides of her. I got to see a good woman. I got to see a bad woman. And in the end, the bad was all I was seeing. And I'm surely if you ask her, in the end, the bad was all she was seeing. You know, my ex-wife had a whole lot of respect for me. She saw a man getting up, if had to work 7 days a week, always pay these bills, always keep himself nice, always keep himself, just being that ideal man, being that ideal husband. You know what I'm saying? So when things in my part of my life fail, you know what I mean, and it's wrong to look at that way because we're married now when things crumbled in my life. So things crumbled in our life. Due to me, if that's a better way to say it. You know what I mean. Gradually, the respect was lost. You know what I mean, and respect is hard to get back. But once again, this is the love and respect experience. We just went over chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4. And once again, stay up. If you're married and you're trying to work on it, first you need to be able to communicate. That's number one. Work on communicating with your spouse, because you have to communicate. Number two, figure the root of the issue. Try to work it out. But I'll be back again, with chapter 5, and maybe we can get 3 or 4 of them in. I'm not going to speed through this. This might could save a marriage, or this might could help someone out there realize that I'm in a marriage that is a dead end. It's no, detouring. It's no rebooting it. It's no resetting it. It's no restarting it. It's dead. And once again, I love you. Love yourself. Love your spouse. Always love your spouse. And remember, marriage is a what? Sacrifice. I'm out. I love you. The Nasty Pastor.